Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 8 of the UFL season. After a week that was full of comebacks and even the team getting eliminated finally from the playoffs, we are here to rank the teams to begin week 8. So if you are new, subscribe is greatly appreciated. Leave a like and comment down below your own thoughts and your own rankings. You know the whole YouTube spiel by this point. So now let's get right into it. Number 8 is the Memphis Showboats, and they're the first team to get eliminated from playoff contention at this point in the season. And they went out with a game that left a lot to be desired. Dresser Wynn played well with nearly 200 yards and a touchdown. The ground game underperformed with Deneric Prince being the main back. He only averaged about 2.6 yards per carry. The defense did their part in giving the offense opportunities. They just couldn't capitalize on those opportunities, and they only had 3 points in the second half on top of it. They had St. Louis to 2 for 10 on third downs. They led time of possession, and all around it wasn't a poor showing. It just wasn't enough when you're going against a team of St. Louis's caliber, and thus they find themselves at number 8. Number 7 is the San Antonio Brahmas, and in the losing effort, they played pretty well. They were in this game the majority of the time, but they just fell short. Kevin Hogan, I liked how he played, 230 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day for him. Jay-Sean Corbin ran the ball really well, 109 yards on only 9 carries, but the defense definitely did struggle in this game, especially against the defender's pass offense. They gave up 3 straight touchdown drives to end the game. They lost a turnover battle, which included a scoop and score that ended the first half. Overall, it was a pretty impressive offensive showing, considering that it is San Antonio we are talking about. They were able to keep this game closer than I thought they would be able to, and thus they move up a single spot in the rankings to number 7. Number 6 is the Houston Roughnecks. And it was a dominant first half for the Roughnecks that sadly ended up leading to nothing, as the game was a tale of 2 halves. McLennan threw the ball okay in this game, 167 yards and a touchdown for him. Zaquandre White ran the ball pretty well, 69 yards, only had 9 carries, and the team as a whole only had 16 carries, which when you're up by damn near 25 at a point in a game, you really should be running the ball a lot more than what they ended up doing, and that probably did play a factor in this game. They started the game with 3 straight touchdowns, and it was just all around. That first half was great. And then the second half rolled around and they couldn't make a stop. They gave up 6 straight scoring drives. The offense couldn't do anything. They got shut out in the second half. They let Birmingham hang around, and that's never a good idea to do against Birmingham. And it was on full display in this one. They gave up 27 unanswered points in this game. Just a really rough showing. They still sit fine in the standings though. So they come in at number 6 on my power rankings. Number 5 is the Arlington Renegades. And that was a very tough loss for Arlington. It came down to the final second. And I know that there was some controversy surrounding it, but for me, it does make a lot of sense. Michigan gained a first down, and they had about 2 seconds left on the clock when they got the first down, and Bryce Perkins went down. Thus, the clock stops very briefly, giving Mike Nolan the time to call a timeout, which he did. They ended up getting that game tying touchdown and the game winning point after. But nonetheless, this was still a pretty good game for Arlington. Luis Perez threw really well, over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. The ground game was basically non-existent in this one. Day Hunter only had about 2 yards per carry. And just all around, they definitely did miss Kalen Ballage in this game. The defense played really well for 3 quarters. They even forced 2 fumbles. They won the turnover battle. Then the fourth quarter rolled around and they gave up 2 straight touchdowns. And again, the weird part is though, Arlington played just fine in the second half. They had 5 straight scoring drives. They still couldn't get the job done. Part of it being they went 1 for 5 in the red zone. That certainly did not help whatsoever. But nonetheless, Arlington comes in at number 5. Number 4 is the Birmingham Stallions. That was a great come from behind win that they had this past week. And it was a surge in the second half. 27 unanswered points got them the win. Case Cookus did go down in this game, with Jamar Smith coming in to lead the way in the fourth, but all around it was a pretty solid showing for both quarterbacks. A combined 255 yards, Cookus threw a touchdown, Jamar Smith ran a touchdown. Cookus also did throw a very ugly pick 6 in this game, but because they won, it is besides the point. Ricky Person and CJ Marable ran the ball pretty well. They had a combined 104 yards and 2 touchdowns on the day. The defense locked down in the second half. On the day as a total, it was a 4-sack day for this Birmingham defense. They also forced a turnover. The offense outgained Houston both through the air and on the ground, and they had firm control of time of possession in this one. All around, they played a really solid game, but still at points it didn't quite look like the defending champs that they are. And it's going to be really tough to make these type of massive comebacks when we get to playoff time and they're playing these really, really, really good teams that are also finding themselves in the top 4 of these rankings. But nonetheless, they still got a great win and they still find themselves in that top 4 at number 4. Number 3 is the St. Louis Battlehawks. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this game besides that this was good old St. Louis football. Was it a great win? No. Was it a pretty win? No. It was a 19-9 win over a team that got eliminated from playoff contention before the game even started. But that's not the point. Yes, Duggan threw pretty well, 150 yards and 65% completion. He also ran for 57 yards and a touchdown. Sailors and Jarvion Howard didn't really run impressively, but they did their job. And that's the key thing, was people doing their job once again. That is the style of St. Louis, and it really showcased again in this one. The defense was really good old St. Louis defense. Played some really good bend, don't break, and only 2 drives for Memphis were scoring drives. They forced 3 turnover on downs and 4 punts on top of those other drives. It's not the type of game that jumps off the screen, but a win is a win. And in this time of year, you're going to have to win ugly. And that's what St. Louis is able to do. They've been doing it all season. It's not an impressive win, but it is still a good win for St. Louis to have. They come in at number 3. Number 2 is the DC Defenders. And the defense didn't really show up in this game in the way I expected. They did make a few plays here and there that were massive to get this win. That included a scoop and score to end the first half and a fumble right at the end of the game after San Antonio picked up a massive 4th down. The offense was the star of the show in this one. Tiamu threw for 278 yards and 3 touchdowns. Deion Jackson ran well with 45 yards and a touchdown on 10 carries. 3 different receivers had 70 plus yards. Braylon Sanders being the big one. He had 1 catch for 76 yards and a touchdown. The main issue, though, was just that the defense didn't look like the Defenders' defense that we are used to this season, especially against the ground. But they held strong, they got a win, they remained tied with St. Louis for the top spot in the XFL Conference, and that final matchup in Week 10 between these two teams is going to be massive, going to be must-watch TV, as both of these two teams are top 3, with the Defenders being at number 2. Number 1 remains the Michigan Panthers. Scared me for a second in that one, but they managed to pull through nonetheless. And for as impressive as Bryce Perkins has been playing this season and continues to be playing as he continues to build his MVP case this year, one thing I want to really harp on for Michigan that we saw a lot in this game, not a lot, but we saw have played a massive role in this game, is their effectiveness on conversion attempts and their philosophy behind conversion attempts. They are 16 for 23 on conversions this season, and they have prioritized going for the 1-point conversion attempt. They are 12 for 18 on those this season, which includes the Toa Tower game-winning 1-point try. And it's a really interesting philosophy because we see league-wide that a lot of teams go for 2 instead because there's only 3 yards back and there's 1 extra point. Michigan has really put an emphasis on going for the 1-point try and making sure you get the extra point. It is a massive thing in this league because you don't have the standard field goal extra point that we are all accustomed to. But again, it played a massive role in this game. Not to say again, Perkins played well. He threw for 231 yards and a touchdown on top of the 60 rushing yards and a touchdown to be paired with Toa Tawa's 31 yards and a touchdown. The defense played fine, could have been better, could have been worse. End of the day, they got a massive win. But the philosophy behind conversion attempts has allowed Michigan to be 5-2 on the season and have allowed them to sneak away these massive wins. So because of that, we saw them play a massive role in this one. They stick at number 1. Well, there you have it. My power rankings for Week 8 of the UFL season. Quick little rundown. The Showboats are at 8, Brahmas are at 7, Roughnecks at 6, Renegades at 5, Stallions at 4, Battlehawks at 3, the Defenders are at 2, and the Michigan Panthers stick at number 1. Thank you all for tuning in. Like I said at the top of this, subscribe if you're new. It's greatly appreciated. Leave a like and comment down below your own power rankings. I'll see you all next time. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.